Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, November 15th, and I'm Brian Boudreau. It's great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week on Norwood News, Norwood residents reflect on the importance of Veterans Day. Chief Patton discusses body-worn cameras that will soon be used by Norwood police officers. But first, some things just bring the community together, and Unified Basketball is one of them. Head coach Kristen McDonald explains what makes this program so special.
Unified is an extension of Special Olympics that is brought into the high school scene. So it was developed probably about maybe 10 years ago, but really picked up pace like over the last 5 years. And almost every team in our league has one that's in various sports. Ours happens to be in basketball. And we're hoping to get it in track this spring as well, but for right now it's basketball. And it's where you have a group of students with and without intellectual disabilities. So you have players, and then you have mentors who help the players throughout the game. So it's just a really, really cool environment.
I was doing this in middle school. Mrs. Dolliner first got me into it, and I had a ton of fun throughout the whole middle school, and I really wanted to join this year. Probably like the atmosphere, everyone like being really nice and having fun, and it's just a ton of fun.
So students with and without intellectual disabilities, they make the team and they get involved, and it's always about improving our friendships and having everyone on the team come as a community and play together and always have fun, and that's what makes it an awesome experience.
Yeah, I think it's everything for the community. You know, I not only are our students that are sometimes in classrooms where maybe they're not out traveling the halls as much are able to be a part of that community every day. You have our mentors who are high-fiving them just walking down the hallways and saying hi, and these kids just like, they bring such a good mood wherever they go, and it is so uplifting to the community. You know, just to see that and to see the crowds we've been getting that have come into the games and to support it, you just don't leave a game or an activity without smiling, without laughing. You know, it's all that is right in sports are with these kids.
My favorite part of Unified Basketball is the team in general. Everyone is so nice, and it's always been a good experience.
It's really cool to watch from the beginning of the season to the end, because they're kind of in their shells a little bit, getting to know each other, kind of know their own skills. And then by the end of it, you know, you might have kids that would be running with the ball up the court at the beginning, and now they're dribbling, you know, down the court, and they're hitting all the shots. And the people you interviewed today are two of the best at it, you know, just finding the right angles, making sure they know where they're successful on the court. And then on the other side, like not just hitting all the shots, but getting back on defense, and even more importantly, just being such good like sportsmen and women to each other in terms of like just the best kids. Everything's great. You miss a shot, it's okay. We're going to get them back the next time. You know, what are we going to do on the bench? What cheers are we going to do for the rest of the team? And that's been the really great part of it.
Coach McDonald is amazing. She's
Yeah.
a good coach.
What kind of stuff does she teach you guys?
She teaches us how to shoot.
It's taught me that it's like really nice to give back to everyone else, and to see everyone happy is just as awesome as having yourself happy.
We are lucky to partner with our friendship club with Mrs. Kelly, who's amazing. And so she has a lot of built-in friendship club activities. And a lot of the same kids that are on our team are going to those activities anyways. So we join forces, and now we have pumpkin decorating, Halloween parties. We were all dressed up in costumes. We had a few other things, like it's all just around being social with each other. We've had pizza for the crew before, so really just bringing them together as a group.
So what we did this season was we made pumpkins, we had a Halloween party, and it was fun. We did this donut eating contest where you don't have to eat, you can't eat the donut with your hands, you gotta like put your hands behind your back, and then you just eat it without touching it with your hands.
Basketball is the catalyst for it, but it's not why we're there. You know, you're going to gain some skills, you're going to get to play and have that competitive edge which they all have too, which is great to see. I think more importantly though, we can take you from whether you've never dribbled a ball in your life to those that know exactly what's going on and still find a place and find value within that team. And then it's way, way, way more about feeling included, accepted, getting to know people, and having just a ton of fun along the way.
At October's special town meeting, the body passed Article 1, transferring $180,000 from free cash and appropriating for the purchase of body-worn cameras for the Norwood Police Department. Here's Chief Padden with more details.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Chris Padden. I'm the Chief of Police here in Norwood. I was asked to talk a little bit about body-worn cameras. The town has just passed in the special town meeting some money that's going to allow us to purchase body-worn cameras. It's part of a combination of funding. We received a grant from the state for one portion of it, and the other portion came from the town. We intend to roll that out sometime in January. Some of our officers are already testing body-worn cameras. They're wearing those as a testing process so that we can kind of understand what the program's going to look like, what we can do and what we can see with those cameras. It's really become a best practice for police all across the country that they're wearing body-worn cameras, and it gives us the opportunity to provide transparency, to really see what happens in a call. Then when we have an issue that comes up, we can just go right back to the video, and it really gives us an opportunity to see exactly what happened when there's a conflict or some question about something that happened between a police officer and a member of the citizen. I think one of the things that's important to note, though, that across the country there was a big call for body-worn cameras for police departments, and one of the things that has really kind of come to light is that police officers almost 99% of the time are doing the right thing, and I think the cameras have shown that, and I think they'll continue to show that. So I think it's good for transparency, and it's good for the police officers as well as the citizens of the town of Norwood.
The high school gym was packed and sold out Tuesday night for a fun and exciting fundraiser sponsored by the Coakley Middle School PTO. The Coakley teachers put together a talented basketball team, and everyone was off to see the Wizards.
Hi, I'm Katie Neal Rizzo.
I'm Kim Randall.
And we are here to talk to you about the Harlem Wizards versus the Norwood Public Schools teachers, a game that we had this past Tuesday night. It came from an idea we wanted to do something to bring together the Coakley community with the larger community and bring something that's fun and engaging to the kids as well as the teachers. So we found this idea of this fundraiser game with the Wizards, exhibition game. They do tricks and slam dunks and things like that. They come and play against the teachers' team. And we thought it would be a lot of fun to bring to the community.
And it was a blast. We sold out. We had 650 tickets, and we sold out earlier in the day. There were counterfeit tickets. There was a demand, and everyone came, and it went as smooth as I think we possibly could have asked for. You know, it was our first time. The Harlem Wizards, they do this all the time. They were a well-oiled machine, and we had a blast. The teachers had fun. The kids had fun. And I think us parents had a great time too. Yeah. So it was a great night out with the family, you know, something to do at a relatively good cost and an overall huge success. We pulled in almost $10,000 for all the schools. Coakley Middle School and the elementary schools got a little bit as well. So it was pretty awesome. Earlier in the day, the Wizards also went around to all the elementary schools, and they hyped up the game and talked to the kids and did some skills and games with them, and the kids really had an amazing time.
And we really couldn't have done it without Dr. Frasiak from Coakley Middle School, the principal, and Eileen Siegel, who is our teachers team captain. She was able to get over 40 Coakley Middle School teachers to volunteer and play in the game, and they all had a lot of fun. We had some great sponsors from the community as well. Courtyard by Marriott hosted the players overnight. Steve Matthews Shooting Clinic, Dedham Savings, Norwood Basketball Association, Norwood Police Association, the Norwood Local 1631, Norwood Physical Therapy, One Local, Semi Orthodontist, Study Buddies, Zamito Insurance, Roach Brothers, and Shaw's. And we had pizzas donated from Little Tony's, Bruno's, Camella's, Mussing Pizza, and Wegmans.
And there was so much demand by the teachers, and the feedback has been so positive that we might have a rematch. Stay tuned.
Everybody, let's make some noise for the world champion, Harlem.
When Norwood News returns, we recap the Veterans Day ceremony, Charlotte Martino delivers the school news, and Ron Marshalsea updates us on some exciting Mustang news.
A little birdie told me that this is NCM's 20th anniversary of being on the air and bringing all of the news, everything possible, every event. You guys have missed nothing. Norwood's home for, you're home for everything. Norwood is just a phrase that encompasses all the hard work you do. So special mention to Sarah Sullivan, the glue that holds it all together at the studio, but Megan Corbett, Brian Boudreau, Ronnie Marshalsea, Kiki Thaxter, Jack Tolman, congratulations, Norwood, and happy birthday.
One of Norwood News' featured segments is Living Local. Diving deeper into the businesses here in town, the newest Living Local might have quite the kick. NCM heads down to Field Martial Arts to get a piece of the action.
Kerry Place, just off of Dean Street, is home to quite a few hidden gems here in Norwood. One of those gems is Field Martial Arts Academy. Owner and chief instructor Derek Field has been in the martial arts field for quite a few years.
We've been here since 2014. We've been in business since 2011. With our kids' martial arts programs, we have ages from 4 to 13, but they're all at different levels. Our Little Dragons, 4 to 7-year-olds, and then our basic training, or Big Dragons, 7, 8, and up. We have fitness kickboxing and Krav Maga. What I'm most proud about is the community that we built here at the school. We call it the FMAA fam. Everyone's just very supportive, from the kids' classes all the way up through the adults. I've always wanted to have a place that you can just come in and it's a positive place. When you come in, no matter how your day's going, there's enough negativity out in the world. We kind of want this to be like an oasis of positivity and just bringing out the best in each other. When I was a kid, kind of at like our Little Dragon age, I did martial arts at a school called Fred Villari's, and then I moved around a little bit. I stopped that, and when I ended up moving to Randolph, I started at Boston Taekwondo in Randolph in 1998 and fell in love with it very quickly. Became like an assistant, and I'm getting hired for my instructor, Pedro Xavier, and worked there for a number of years until I basically went out on my own in 2011.
Derek's love for martial arts keeps him going and allows him to share that with his students each time they walk through the door.
I get to do martial arts, every day. I get to spread the love of martial arts. I know what it did for me when I was growing up. I really started when I was a teenager at 14. But I just know the effect that it had on me, and I've seen it have similar effects on others. Kids to adults. It can make a pretty profound impact, and being able to do that is very rewarding. But at the same time, classes are fun, high energy, moving around. I get to play dodgeball every now and then. It's pretty sweet. That is really one of the things that made me want to become an instructor and do this as a career, because I saw what it can do. And right now, students are just going through my head as far as different examples. I've had junior black belts who have been with me since they were 4 years old, start off and they can barely, distinguish left from right, and awkward and things like that. And they're like little ninjas now. It's awesome. And along with that, as you said, the confidence that comes with that, just I love it. I love seeing that.
The growth in his students, or little ninjas as he calls them, is incredible to see, and the support from Norwood over the last 10 years has only made field martial arts better.
I mean, honestly, it is the best. Right away when I moved here, I could feel the community vibe really immediately. One of the biggest ways that we get new students is by word of mouth, right? You know, referrals are a big part of getting the kids in here and the adults in here for that matter too. And we got very strong, you know, connections through that once we got Norwood. You know, a few people came and checked us out. And then from there, you know, their friends and their friends and their friends, right? And you could just tell they really support local business in Norwood. And I think one of the best examples of that as well is Norwood Day. Norwood Day, you can just see how the town kind of turns up and supports the local businesses like that, which is, I think, is really cool to see. I just want you to know that we're very grateful for all the years that we've been in Norwood, 10 years. And if you haven't come check us out yet, we'd be honored to have you come.
You can check out Field Martial Arts on Facebook and Instagram, as well as their website, fieldmartialarts.com. They have trial programs from kids all the way up to adults, so check out a class or participate in one at 170 Carey Place.
The Veterans Day Parade and Ceremony had a new face leading the way this past Monday, November 11th, with new Veterans agent Derek Wennestrand. NCM had the chance to talk with a few veterans who describe what Veterans Day means to them.
Veterans Day is recognition for our men and women that wore the uniform and gave time to their country to serve. It's to recognize those who have served and those that are still serving. And we recognize all of them. We give great praise to those who have volunteered in each of the branches of the service. And me being a Vietnam veteran, I always want to pay back to those who come back from any kind of conflict or even just serving here in this country, because we all have given our time to protect the freedoms that we enjoy every day. I'm here because I love being chaplain for the Norfolk County Marine Corps League, the VFW Post, and the Disabled American Veterans of Norwood, Chapter 90. And I love staying in touch with my veterans, doing services for our veterans who have passed, recognizing them and their family, what their family have given up for some of their family members being veterans. And I just like paying back and giving tribute to our veterans.
So Veterans Day to me is about celebrating life, and we reserve the morning for Memorial Day, where we've lost our veterans and our service members. So Veterans Day is about celebrating what veterans have done for us and their sacrifice and their family sacrifice also, because the families go through a lot. I'm here today because I enjoy serving. I, right out of high school, joined the military, and then I became a police officer here in the town of Norwood. And I retired a few years ago and had been missing just serving. And I knew when Teddy was talking about retiring that this was something that I could see myself fitting into and take the reins and continue to serve the community.
Veterans Day means that I remember all my friends who I served with and didn't serve with, and my relatives and my wife's relatives. My wife is a Ferrara, and her uncle was the youngest veteran to die in Okinawa in World War II. He was 18 years old. So I remember veterans and those that gave their lives for us. I'm a veteran. So every Veterans Day I come up and pay homage to those of us living and dead.
Now we're going to toss it over to Charlotte Martino for the latest in school news.
I'm Charlotte Martino, and let's check out what's going on in our Norwood school news. In Norwood High School news, the NHS drama program will be performing Shakespeare's Midsummer's Dream on November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at 7 p.m. and a Sunday matinee performance on November 24th at 2 p.m. 11 outstanding Norwood High School Honors Robotics Pathway students volunteered their time at the Willett Early Childhood Center's Family STEM Night. Students and families were able to explore multiple hands-on science, technology, engineering, and math activities, enjoy some pizza, visit with Mustang Sally, and learn more about the exciting science and math curriculums at the Willett. Students were able to meet special guests like Dr. Michael Crowley and the Norwood High School AP Robotics team, play with giant 10 frames, learn beginning coding skills in library, show off their ST math skills, graph favorite animals, build Lego bridges for Gigi the Penguin, test out their estimation skills, compete in math and science-themed school-wide scavenger hunt, and find the tools to build a take-home balloon rocket. The Honors Robotics 1 students demonstrated the operation of NHS Junior Nate Hartman's super accurate diabetic pump design, and the Honors Robotics 2 students walked the students and families through the operation of the first ever database science neural network designed and built here at NHS. The Willett would like to thank their PTO for the pizza, Dr. Crowley and the AP Robotics team, Officer Baguma and Mustang Sally, the Norwood Community Trails Partnership, the Boy Scouts, and the many staff and student volunteers that made this such a great night. The high school would like to thank Willett Principal Dr. Michael Bollier and Willett teacher Miss Colleen Reynolds for having them. At the Coakley Middle School, Grade 6 used project-based learning works for a recent lesson. Students were given a sugar cookie recipe on a sheet of paper. They were also given a lesser amount of the same ingredients on a plate. Using their group members in the original recipe, their goal was to create a tiny sugar cookie that will still taste, smell, and look similar to the original recipe, but scaled down to a smaller size. Students were actually able to create and bake with the microwave their cookies and rate other groups on their ability to successfully create the tiny cookie. At the Callahan School, students learned about the voting process by voting for the best cookie in Miss Saliba's second grade class. Cleveland students were having a ball at the school-wide field trip to see the musical Cinderella at the Norwood Theater this week. And Chief Dana Martin, a Cleveland graduate, came back to talk with the first grade about his work in the Navy and the Navy's role as protector of the seas. Students got a glimpse of Martin's Navy Challenge badges that were collected from other naval organizations around the world. This week at Prescott School, we celebrated World Kindness Day by spreading kindness and positivity throughout our school. The school's social-emotional learning team put together a secret mission for each class to encourage acts of gratitude across the school. For some grade levels, this included writing positive notes to other kids in their class, exchanging compliments around the classes, or simply doing random acts of kindness. In classes, kids read books about what it means to be kind and how we can spread kindness in our class, our community, and around the world. That wraps up this week's school news. A big thank you to all the teachers who keep us in the loop with their updates. It really helps us see the wonderful things happening in our schools. Reporting for Norwood News, I'm Charlotte Martino, and now here's Ron Marshallsea with the latest in sports.
I'm Ron Marshallsea, and this is your Sports Update. The football team went to Marblehead in the round of 16, but couldn't grab the win over the Magicians. The one Mustang score came off a huge 85-yard run by Jack Dwyer. The Mustangs will be hosting the Milton Wildcats this Friday the 15th, which will be live on the NCM Community Channel, kickoff at 6 o'clock. The field hockey team is going back to the state championship for the second year in a row after a round of 8 1-0 win over Reading and a 3-2 win over Canton in the Final Four. Reading kept it close, but Shea Larkey eventually got a shot off that hit the back of the net for the only goal of the game. But that one goal was enough for Norwood to beat the team that took them down in the state championship last year and send them to the Final Four, where they met Canton. Canton was up 2-0 in the middle of the third quarter, and by the end of the third, it was tied 2-2. Larkey got the scoring started with a powerful shot to get them on the board, and Ava Hines then placed the ball perfectly for Larkey to tip it in, tying the game up at 2 in the final seconds of the quarter. And in the final seconds of the game, 8 seconds to be exact, Bridget Connolly forced in the final goal to put the Mustangs ahead and send them back to the state championship. And we can't forget to mention the contributions of goalie Ava O'Neill, who made some incredible saves down the stretch and helped get the Mustangs back to the finals. The Mustangs will be taking on Somerset Berkeley on Saturday the 16th at Worcester State. The MIAA has announced the game will be at 9:30 a.m. NCM will be there to record for future broadcasts the D2 Field Hockey State Championship. Speaking of state championships, senior Natalie Martin won the Division IIA Cross Country State Championship. That's a pretty good result for someone's second season running cross country. In addition to being a state champion, Natalie will be running Division I at Holy Cross next year. Congratulations, Natalie, and good luck at the next level. And that is all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshalsea, and Norwood News will be right back after this break.
Just wanted to wish NCM a happy 20th birthday, and thank you for all you do for the community.
The Board of Selectmen hosted Brian Kane of the MBTA Advisory Board Tuesday night. Mr. Kane gave a presentation entitled MBTA Fiscal Challenges, Past, Present, and Future. The presentation highlighted the financial history of the T and where it could be headed.
This leads us to the situation we're at today. So they're going to get through the current fiscal year by using up basically all of their reserves. The deficit next year is about $700 million. That number is probably closer to $850 million. And it just continues to expand and to grow as we get closer to 2029. In the past, the T has been able to solve a lot of these problems internally. That is unavailable to them this year. Now, the last time they faced such a dramatic budget deficit in 2001, in the middle of the pandemic, to realize $142 million, they put a series of draconian service cuts on the table, including significant cuts to the frequency of commuter rail lines. They would have closed 6 stations, completely ended weekend service, eliminated all ferry service, and cut back on bus routes like the 34E here in Norwood. Luckily, we were able to fight these service cuts back. Some federal money came in, and that kind of rescued the day. But the deficit for next fiscal year is 5 times greater than the $142 million that those service cuts were trying to get. The amount of service available to be cut simply doesn't exist to eliminate and still be considered a public transportation agency.
The Board of Selectmen will meet again on November 26th. The Library Board of Trustees also met Tuesday night. Library Director Clayton Cheever reported that the library is looking for part-time employees during the week. The job opening is posted on the Town of Norwood website if you're interested. It was also announced that the Planning Board will be holding an open house in the Simone Room next month. At the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, the owner of 25 Worthing Circle came before the board to appeal the building inspector's decision on whether or not his newly installed pool met safety requirements. Building Inspector Gary Pelletier explained that there is a conflict between Mass state codes and Norwood bylaws. However, it was in his opinion that the pool met safety standards but could not grant an exemption due to conflict in the codes. The Zoning Board unanimously approved the override of the inspector's decision. The Zoning Board of Appeals will meet again on December 3rd. At the school committee meeting on Wednesday night, Superintendent Tim Luff presented the board with the elementary redistricting timeline.
Right, and make sure we're addressing folks. And then by December of 2025, we would have, my goal would be to have all complete staffing assignments done for the 26-27 school year. So close to this time next year, staff members would know where they were going, and maybe even earlier than this. But this is probably the timeline that we would need. Certainly, if we were trying to make this happen for next year, we would have to condense this, and it would be very difficult to do. A lot of technology to be implemented, and Mr. Kidd's still working on this piece, but there are tech changes that happen in each school as well. Prepping a kindergarten school with different technology for, upper level, so to speak, because the Willett would be a K-4 school. Right now, in all of these, we're trying to identify changes based on scenario 1 that can be implemented in the 25-26 school year. So there are some tech changes based on scenario 1 that Mr. Kidd could make, right, depending on what that is. And so he would implement those over the summer. If there are any In summer 2026, he would complete tech changes for buildings for full implementation for the fall of 2026. And I think, update the website. I'm throwing small things in here as I get them, but the website's going to have to be updated. Right now we have 6 K-4 schools. Simple things like that.
During the presentation, there was a discussion amongst the committee about potential grandfathering.
And one thing, Mr. Luff, that I've had people ask me in email and then also in person as they see me out about in the community, there's still a lot of families who really want to better understand why we said that the grandfathering wasn't feasible. And I trust you and I trust our elementary study, but I've gotten the question of, have I seen that data? And I haven't seen that data. So that data around the grandfathering in, is that something that A, could be shared with the school committee, and then also B, as you're looking at overlap zones and other policies, is that something that you would revisit, or do you feel, very strongly based off of the work that the elementary study team and you have done, that it really is like a concrete, no, it just is not feasible, unfortunately?
I think grandfathering, for the most part, is a very difficult thing to do in terms of ensuring that you have appropriate class sizes. And, if the goal was to have equitable class sizes, and you decide to, I hate to use the word grandfather, but if you decide to continue to keep kids and allow them to stay, then your class sizes in one school become way overloaded.
If all, third graders requested to stay, we didn't look at that, but we discussed the logic of it, and then from their experience, they had also worked on it for other districts, and it was, either it just creates those hurdles in terms of transportation and class size that become very hairy.
The school committee will meet again on December 4th. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, Norwood.